stop shooting yourself in the foot. That's what most salespeople do when they ask the wrong questions the wrong way. Let me show you what I mean. Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for lending me your ears. And if you're watching this on video, your eyeballs are appreciated. Today, I want to talk about shoot your prospects. Not like that, in a totally different way. Now, when we talk about shoot your prospects, we always think about asking questions when we talk to our clients before we get into the meat of the subject. For example, let's say that you're trying to sell some software platform, right? Any type of given platform that you have, some sales enablement platform, revenue platform, a CRM type of system. And let's say that your goal is to kick out the incumbent. In other words, they're using a competitor. Your job is to kick the competitor out, right? So let's say you're in that position, you're having a conversation with a client, and you say something like this: Mr. X, Mrs. Y, are you happy with your current platform? What a good question, right? How about this one? Are you happy with the way the system is performing, right? Or how about this one? Are you happy? Are your people happy? Are your employees happy with how the system is performing for them? So you're asking them, are you happy? Now, are these good questions? Hold that thought. So I was reading a book called Persuasion by Dr. Robert Cialdini. Now, if you don't know who Dr. Robert Cialdini is, I don't know why you don't know. In 1984, he wrote a book called Influence. It's still to this day one of those books you have to read, okay? It doesn't matter the year it was written. You have to read the book. And his book, Persuasion, that came out back in 2016, I believe, he talks about sending people down a psychological chute. Yeah, I like that phrase, psychological chute, right? And he said a chute is I think the definition of a chute is basically, it's like a sloping slide or channel that moves something from a higher level to a lower level, right? That type of thing. Think of a slide, like at a playground, a slide is a chute, right? If you've seen a cement mixer truck, they usually have that chute to actually pour the cement. So think of it as, a single channel, it's a chute, right? So if I can send you down this psychological chute, I can control your thinking. So, for example, if I ask you, are you happy? Can you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? Are you happy? How happy are you? Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, as soon as I ask you, are you happy or how happy are you, your brain will start looking for, it'll start like a search engine. It'll start looking for information to validate and basically quantify how happy are you. Right? And so if I ask you, how happy are you? Are you happy? Right? The index is going to be high. But what if I flip that question, right? Instead of saying, are you happy? I said, how unhappy are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how unhappy are you, right? Now, again, almost like a command in a search engine, your brain starts scouring your brain for reasons of why you might be unhappy. Now your unhappy index goes up. So in other words, depending on how I ask the question will determine how you respond to me. So if I ask you if you're happy, you're going to look for reasons to validate why you're happy or quantify how happy are you. Or if you're unhappy, the same thing. So what I'm doing is basically superimposing a bias on the way I ask the question. In other words, I'm giving it a polarity. So let's go back to our 3 questions, and maybe now we can start kind of really analyzing them. So for example, the first question was, Mr. X, are you happy with your current platform? Well, again, if I ask the client if they're happy with their current platform, they're going to look for reasons in their mind to figure out why they're happy with it. So worse yet, if I verbalize why I'm happy. In other words, I give you reasons, because you asked the question, I give you reasons why I'm happy because I verbalized it. Now, basically, I've made a public declaration, which means now I'm going to really believe I'm happy with it. Worse yet, let's say that I'm the person that made the decision to buy the original system. I'm going to stick to my position of why I'm really happy with it. In other words, I'm going to stick to the position that I'm really happy with it because of the way you frame the question. So that leads us now to the real meat of this subject. How can we rephrase that question so it benefits you? Remember, you're trying to kick out the incumbent, get rid of the competition, and the only way to do that is not to ask them about how happy they are. You got to change that. So, for example, instead of saying, Mr. X, are you happy with your current platform? You're going to say, Mr. X, what are some of the shortcomings of your current platform? wait a minute. I just asked you, what are some of your shortcomings? Because I asked you, what are some of the shortcomings of your current system, your brain goes into search engine mode again, and it starts looking for reasons of why or reasons for the shortcomings. In other words, what are the shortcomings of my platform? You go, well, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that, it doesn't do that. Another way you can ask, I said, Mr. X, what are some of the shortcomings of your current platforms? And then you can lead them a little bit by saying, for example, features that you don't have. Again, what I did is I'm sending the prospect down a psychological chute of thinking of what are the shortcomings and what features am I missing? Can you see how that's a more powerful question that plays to your advantage? Number 2, the second question was, are you happy with the way the system is performing? Just change that. How about this? What are some of the things you're unhappy with regarding your current system? Well, what is some of the things you're unhappy with? And again, you can be a little more pointed by saying something like this. What are 1 or 2 things that make your current system a challenge to use? Do you see how I'm giving it that negative spin, that negative polarity? Because I'm forcing them to think of reasons why they're unhappy or why their system is a challenge, because that puts me in a better position to pitch my actual platform. The third one, are your people or employees happy with the results they're currently getting? Well, what if you change that to something like this? What are some of the complaints or feedback you're getting from your employees who use the platform? Let me say that again. What are some of the complaints or feedback that you're getting from your employees who use the platform? Again, what I'm trying to solicit real negative information. Now, I put a little spin on this one. Listen to the statement again. The question, what are some of the complaints or feedback? Now, if I just said, what's some of the feedback you're getting? If I said, what is some of the feedback you're getting on the platform, you don't know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates. You're not going to know what you're going to get.
Life is a box of chocolates, Forrest. You never know what you're going to get.
Mama always had a way of explaining things so I could understand them.
But as soon as I put that negative polarity on it by saying, what are some of the complaints or feedback that you're getting, now the client's going to tell you, well, we're unhappy with this, they've complained about this. And again, the way I ask the question, the way I frame the question will determine the type of answers I get from the clients. But more importantly, what I'm doing is having that person activate, if I can use that word, almost activate the reasons why they're unhappy. If I ask them why they're happy, they'll look for reasons why they're happy, which means they're not going to change or look for an alternative like my platform or my system. But if I start digging in, like really digging in into why they're unhappy, highlighting certain things, trying to really draw that out, I'm forcing them to think about the reasons they're not happy. And because they're thinking about these reasons, now we're having a conversation where my system, can help them resolve some of those issues. So again, it's not about what you ask, it's how you ask. And keep in mind that every question carries with it a polarity, a positive or a negative. Are you happy? Plus. Are you unhappy? Negative. So if you want to bend, as I say, the arc of closing to your advantage, remember, it's not what you say or what you ask, it's how you ask. And on that note, this is Victor Antonio. Check out the Sales Velocity Academy when you get a moment. We've got some great new courses. Please get Dr. Robert Cialdini's book, Persuasion. You will not be disappointed. And on that note, this is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, sell it ain't hard when you ask the right questions in the right way, and you know how. Take care.